Hello and welcome to the first ever OMC Games OMC Dev Blog. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. We had the dev blog that we wanted to do for Skullforge, but over time I felt like as OMC and us as a group tend to expand into other things, that it may be better just to go ahead and do an official OMC dev blog, and therefore I can cover a lot more topics. We can talk about writing, we can talk about game development, we can talk about other things that we're getting into, and it'll really open up what we're actually trying to accomplish in the long term. Ultimately, it's nice to be able to talk about some things, especially as we put things down into a point where we want to focus and flesh out some of the things that we actually are working on doing and stuff. As the creative process goes on, sometimes you work on things and you go, you know what, that really sucked. I can't even believe I even did that. And so being able to talk about it and lay it out, it keeps us connected to the people who are interested in our stuff, but also it helps us to focus on the things and to throw out some ideas and just see where they go, because sometimes those things don't go anywhere, and so you're just stuck with nothing. And so in this case, we are going to look at and talk about a few things. So first, I really want to thank everybody for stopping and taking time out of your day to watch, look at our content. We're pretty new out there, so it's not like we have a crazy amount of followers or people looking at the stuff that we do. But even if it's just 2 or 3 or 4 people or 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000, it's still nice that there's somebody out there interested in something that you're saying or something that you're doing. And so I appreciate that, and I really think that it helps us stay interested in what we do. And so I really want to thank everybody for that. But let's not dwell on that. Let's just get right into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Skullforge, the stories. Now, I put out 2 Skullforge stories. The Destined one, which was one of the ones we put out, and therefore I have part 3 coming. It's been years. I know somebody asked, like, dude, where the hell's the next one? You know what, man? A long time ago, when I first put out part 1, part 2, or chapter 1, chapter 2, I thought about putting out chapter 3 and chapter 4 and chapter 5. Like, I had already planned that I was going to do that. But, you know, one thing about life is sometimes it just throws you a curveball, and sometimes, I'll admit, sometimes you feel like you're not reaching anybody, and so you don't have that motivation to do the next one. But, you know, as life happens and as other things happen, then, you know, you just kind of get to a point you go, you know what, maybe I need to do this. So part 3 has been written. It is done. The only thing left at this point is it just needs to be edited, and I don't edit my own stuff. I tried that a long time ago, but my general rule of thumb now is don't edit your own stuff. Don't do it. Get somebody else to do it. Even if you think you're the best ever, please don't do it. You know, mainly because sometimes you miss things because you know what your intent was when you were writing it, right? But somebody else reads it and they go, dude, I have no idea what the hell you even talking about. I don't even know why you even did that. And so that's one of those things that, you know, you just go, maybe I should have gotten somebody else to do it. And so it just needs to be edited. And I have somebody who's going to edit it. And so that's something that I want to get done. And so sometime in the next, I don't know, couple months, this year for sure, like, it'll be out. As a matter of fact, I have part 4 mostly done. So 3 and 4 will come out fairly close together. The main issue is money, because editing is not cheap, and so therefore, if you're gonna get something edited, then and you want it professionally edited, and you wanted it edited in a way that is good and people will appreciate and not go, "Ooh, gee, I can't believe there's a spelling mistake right there." You gotta think about that. So that's something that we are definitely working on. But chapter 4 is just about finished. There's one little niggly little story thing that is holding me up. But if you've ever written anything, then you understand that sometimes there's that one little thing that you think you had a handle on in the beginning. But once you start writing the story, you realize, whoa, wait a minute, maybe that's not going to work. And so I hit one of those points, and in my head, it worked. But once I actually got around to writing it, I felt like, it was maybe just a little bit, maybe people will go, I don't know. And just a little thing about me and writing stories, and I'll just lay that out. Like, I don't know about other people and other writers. Other writers, they do all kinds of things, and I've found that there's no way that I personally can write something like TV shows or serialized things or stuff like that. Like, I can't do that. The main reason I can't do that is because I always like to have my stories grounded in some kind of way. And I don't really care too much about the drama part of it. And I know that drama is what drives people to want to know what happens next. But I feel like if you tell a story about somebody's life, or I guess anything in general, like, you don't necessarily need to throw the drama in. The drama should just come naturally. The way I write and the way I kind of experience this is somebody is telling me that story, like they're relaying it to me in a way that is natural. And if that story doesn't come across as natural, then I just can't really write it, if that makes any sense. So the Skullforge series has been pretty interesting in that it's different from a lot of the cyberpunk stuff that I like to write. I love cyberpunk. That's the thing that if I could write about anything all the time, it would be cyberpunk. Fantasy is interesting, but cyberpunk's my thing. That's my baby. And anyway, not to have this drag on too long, I really just want to say that story is coming. It's written. It's done. And so if you're looking forward to that, or that's something that you're looking to get or see or read, that will happen sometime in the next couple months. We'll definitely have it out. And the next one is almost done. So therefore, once it's finished, then we'll be able to move on with the next one. And I think people are going to like that one too. So it's coming along, but at least it's a little update about that. The next thing we're going to talk about is Skullforge, the game. Now, Skullforge, the game is... First, before I get into that, I want to answer one question somebody asked me, and that is, why the books and why the game and why the same name and why is it set up this way? I don't have a huge explanation for it. The simple explanation is the game takes place in a time where it's after a bunch of things happened. My original thought was, in the game, I was going to have a beginning part. So as the game started, it was going to be like a part that just kind of wraps things up. It kind of tells you what's going on. And then at that point, we roll right into the game. But the problem with that I found is it leaves a lot of the details. And because we're introducing a new character, Desi Cornerstone, she's a new character and people don't know anything about her. It's not like she's some IP that's been around for a long time and everybody knows her story. They don't. But I find that her story is particularly interesting, and therefore I thought, well, as a companion to the game, we could do the books or the stories. And I originally spaced them out. Maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, but originally that was going to be one story per month or every couple of months until we got to the end. But unfortunately, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, mainly because I I have other obligations. At the time I was working and teaching in Japan, and so I had that going on. I just didn't have the time. And so as time went on, it just slipped away. But looking to get back into that and doing more of it now. So Skullforge, the books will connect to Skullforge, the game, so that way you can connect those two pieces. And that way, as readers and people who go into Skullforge game will know more about who Desi is and what she's like and why she's the way she is and what her situation is, so that they can, I feel like, connect better with the character. Though in the game itself, I feel like the game is going to do a really good job of connecting the player to Desi. I feel like Desi's a great character. I really like her. I feel like she's down to earth. She's strong, without having to have all the fan service and stuff. And then, not that I have any problem with that, because I don't. But she's a strong character that I feel like works in a way that people will be able to connect to. And I feel like that's the one thing about the game. And so anyway, I wanted to get in a little bit of that as to why the game is the way it is and why that's connected to the stories, so that now you know why that happened. Maybe it didn't work out quite the way we wanted it to, but that doesn't really matter, because I feel like the end product should be good. So let's get into the game, and that is, the game is coming along. I have a lot more time to work on it these days, so there's some spots that it was rough. I'm not even gonna lie. One thing about game development, and maybe I'll do an episode on this at some point, but one thing about game development is it's really about trying your patience a little bit, testing your mettle, seeing if you're strong enough, tough enough to get out there and do it day after day. And it's even tougher when it's just you, when it's a little easier, I guess, when you're in a group, like when you're working with other people, like when I was at NCSoft and we were talking about, they were working on stuff and we were all sitting around in meetings and stuff, when you're doing that, that helps make the monotony of it better, because at least you have somebody who can share your pain. You can go to the break room and be like, dude, I really hated how this thing happened. Nick, and then the other guy goes, yeah, sure, dude, I totally hated that too. And there's something about that camaraderie that can keep you going for long periods of time, even though the whole process of it sucks. And that's not to say that game development sucks, because we wouldn't do it really, I guess, if it sucked as bad as some people make it out to suck. But the thing about that is, it's something that takes forever. And sometimes even just looking at, just to get your character to walk from here to there, sometimes can take a long period of time to actually get to that point. Now, I know some people are like, well, what are you talking about? Like, it's easy. You can just do this. Well, yes, I'm only using it as an exaggeration of being able to see something that you want to happen, and sometimes that takes a while. And this project is done with just me and my wife, and so it's not like something that we have a whole crew. We don't. There's only 2 people working on it. I wish we would have had this done a long time ago. I wanted to have the Wii U version of this done. I wanted to be able to do this in a way that it would be amazing and people would go, wow, that's great. Because I think the overall concept of the game is great. But the way it all went down and it's going down is just really taxing on the soul. But that's not to say that the game's not being worked on and stuff. And, as we do these blogs, then I'll be able to show more about the game. But I made the mistake in the beginning of showing the game, and I know I had to because we were doing a Kickstarter and people wanted to see what it was like and all that. But I made the mistake of doing that, and I feel like maybe the game wasn't really ready for that point. And so I feel like at this point, I'm going to wait to really get in, delve into what we're actually doing until I can work all that out. And then once I'm ready, then, we're going to do that. But there's one thing that I want to mention about the game itself, and that is we will have a demo. I know I said some years ago that demos suck and I didn't really want to do it. That's true. Demos still suck. Not for the consumer. For the consumer, they're great to have. I love demos, use them all the time. However, for the developer, demos suck. You generally have to make a fork of your game that is only made for that, unless you want to, block things off in a way that players can't go and do stuff. One thing I do want to do is I'd love to have the demo actually allow you to save and then carry on with the main game. So once the actual game comes out, you can just roll right into the game. So whatever you've done, you can just save and go on. But that would require that a lot of the main systems are in. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I mean, I would like to, but I don't think that we're going to be able to. But that's, hey, dreams, right? That's what we're doing. We're trying to make this come to life. And so I want people to think and understand from a game development standpoint, this is where we're at. But the goal now is to put out the demo. We will have a demo at some point. It'll be PC and Mac. That does bring up the Linux version of the game. I'm going to just say straight up that the Linux version is no more. I just didn't want to have to keep up messing around with the Linux stuff. There's only a couple of us, and trying to keep that alive, it's already tough with the Wii U version and the Mac version and PC version and stuff. And the Wii U version is already a pain in the ass to keep up. And so, keeping it running and working and stuff, and then having to deal with the Linux version, I just don't have time for that. So rather than let it just fall to the wayside and, we weren't going to be able to do it right and do it properly, I decided that it would just be better just not to do it at all. So at this point, the Linux version is gone. Now, that's not to say that in the future that we don't do a Linux version. That possibility is always there, especially when we're talking about things like other versions, like Xbox version or something. Like if we were going to do that, then I don't see a problem with doing two versions. Like you have the Xbox version and you have the Linux version at the same time. Like I wouldn't have a problem with that. But that's way far in the future, and I'm just not gonna do that. Now, the only exception to that rule would be if I can swap the Wii U version with the Nintendo Switch version. That one is tough because I would love to, but Nintendo, the way they have it set up for us indies, without getting a lot of details, it's just not as friendly and as simple as it was before. So unfortunately, I can't really say much about that. It would be nice to do it, though. And if they gave me the opportunity, I'd drop the Wii U one, and then we'd pick up the Nintendo Switch version, and that would be what we would carry on with. And so, mainly just because we already have the Nintendo stuff already set up, and it would be not trivial, but it would be something that we could just easily roll right into the from that version to that. And my code base would, there are a few things that actually would be better if we could go with the, with the Nintendo Switch, because newer versions of Unity work and all that stuff. But the game's coming along, and as we work out all the details and stuff, we will have a demo later on. So I just want to lay that out. We'll talk about more of it next time, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time now. I mean, it's too late to say that because I've already spent a ton of time. But just to let you know, the game's still coming along. We're still working. We've been, I work every day on the game, so it's coming along. And maybe next time on the next dev vlog, what I'll do is I'll show like maybe a pic or something, just something. I mean, I know I said I don't want to show too much of the game because, and that's true, but at least to say, yes, we're still doing this. It's out there. It's going. We're doing what we're doing. But next time, I really like to talk more about some of the systems and stuff and kind of some of the changes that we've done over the years. And finally, the last thing that we are going to get into, and I'm just going to hit on this just a little bit, is my wife is really into little side stuff. And she's working on some shoes that we will have available on the OMC website. So you'll be able to take a look at stuff that she's working on and stuff. And they're pretty amazing. And here's some pics so you can actually see what they look like. The shoes are actually really well done. And I love the designs that she did. And the ones that she's working on now are really, really amazing. And so, the geek nerd in me is like, wow, that's amazing. I totally want to do that. I want to see that come to life, and I'd love to see somebody actually have those and go, wow, that's amazing. Like, those are great. So, we are always looking to get into stuff. And so I think my wife and I are just creative people in general. We just want to create some stuff. And sometimes, sometimes things hit and sometimes they don't. But for this particular thing, I thought it was really interesting that she decided that she wanted to do this. And so take a look at what she's got. Like, as we have more info on it, then I'll post some. And maybe I'll put some information in the description below so that you actually can check out, something that she's working on. I think she has a Facebook page or something. So if you're interested and you really want to show your support and you're interested in what she's doing, hop on over and, like her Facebook page. She's got lots of pics and stuff, and so you can kind of see what she's doing. I think she might even have some pics of what she's doing now, so you can actually see kind of the stuff that she's working on now. Because there's something she's working on, and I don't know if I can talk about it, and so I don't want to say anything, and then she gets on my case like, I can't believe you did that. Like, oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, I don't want to say much, but take a look at her page and you'll be able to see what she's working on. So yeah, send your support. Like, if that's something you want to do, then yeah, go for it. And I guess that's going to wrap it up for today's blog. It went a little bit longer than I expected. I originally wanted this to go 15 minutes, but here we are like 20 minutes in, But hey, there's a lot of stuff to cover, especially since we haven't done these in a long time. But I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to watch whatever it is that we're putting out. I really appreciate it. Leave some comments below. Let me know. Like if you like, dislike if you dislike. Hey, some people don't like everything, so that's how that goes sometimes. But I do appreciate everybody who takes time to actually look at and read and buy and comment on all the things that we do. It is something that I really enjoy doing, and so I really hope that in the future, we'll have a long-lasting relationship, and you guys will be able to enjoy all the things that we're working on and putting together and whatever. So thank you again, and I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.